Edify is a key component of the early warning system. It allows the student to log in, take assessments that generate standards-based data, and also automatically generates resources for remediation to the student. Let's take a look at the student experience. Is a second grade student. You can see here her dashboard. There's a navigation bar across the top that remains the same throughout the site. The left side of the screen shows all of the courses she's enrolled in, and the right side of the screen shows a Just For Me section where she can view her customized experience. There are gamification features enabled throughout the site where the student can earn points and badges to increase the level of engagement. Let's go into the reading course to see what the student experience is. Each unit in the course is laid out like a map. The map is designed to show the student a more journeyed approach to their learning. Each circle indicates a lesson within the unit, and the stars are indicating that that lesson has been completed. Let's take a look at what the lessons look like. The lessons are intentionally designed to meet the needs of younger learners. It begins with the Getting Started section, where the student is able to see the essential question and I can statement. Text-to-speech is enabled throughout the site where the student can hit a play button and have that read aloud to them. The first thing they see is an introductory video. As they scroll down the page, they're going to see step-by-step instructions that again could be read aloud to them if text-to-speech was enabled. On the right, the Digging Deeper section is going to contain all of the resources the student would access to achieve the objective of the lesson. These lessons are not designed to be one-time experience. The student would go back to them many times until they have practiced that concept enough to show mastery. Down below, there is a formative assessment at the end of each lesson. So I've taken us back out into the course to take a look at another unit and what the assessment experience is like for a student. Many of the assessment questions within this assessment are really designed to not only collect the best possible data that we can collect on students, young students, but to also give the student an experience in a high-stakes testing environment. This first question is a standard multiple choice question. The text-to-speech option can be activated and the students would be able to click on these pictures to hear the words. I am going to choose the incorrect answer as I go through so that you can see what happens at the end of the assessment experience. This is a drag and drop item. Student drags the answer into the table. This can be used in many different ways. There might be an image that the student is labeling. Teachers can design their own questions, but there are already assessments and assessment questions pre-created within the system. In this case, we have a sound cloud embedded in here where the teacher can actually put their own voice within a question, so the student's actually hearing the question exactly how the teacher would ask it. What is the sound at the end of this word? 6. 6. Choose from the answers below. So the answer pool actually contains little YouTube videos where the student would listen to the letter sounds and then choose the answer. Here's another example of a drag and drop item. We call this item plotting. This is an image here. The yellow is showing the hot zones where the student can drag their answers. Obviously this is not a reading question, but again this is just an example of the different types of questions that the student may see within the system. Another drag and drop type of item, this one is called Mad Libs. If they would like to change their answer, they simply drag a new one on top of the old one. The box highlights yellow when they can drop their answer in. This is a matching question. They simply click on the left side, click on the right side to match it up. They can also match multiple options into the same category. So you think about nouns and verbs. You might have noun and verb, and over here several examples. They're sorting, essentially, their answers into two groups. Here's a highlighting question. The student simply reads the passage below. They highlight the section that they would like to indicate, and it's as simple as that. When the student submits their assessment, because all of those questions were auto-graded questions, the student's going to get immediate feedback. The teacher also gets immediate feedback. Once I log in as the teacher, you'll be able to see what that feedback looks like on the teacher end. The student's going to see their results for each question, and it will indicate their overall score. As we scroll down the page, we're going to see the green checks indicating the correct answer, the red X's are incorrect. As Clara scrolls all the way to the bottom, what she's going to see down here is a list of recommended resources. Now, each question has the standard right here that is connected to that question. Now, a second grader may not care to know what that standard is, but parents have a mirrored portal, and parents can actually come in and view their students' performance on an assessment and see which standards their child is being assessed on. And down below, there are recommended resources because Clara did not achieve mastery on the standards that were assessed. It's going to say over here, this is recommended for question 2, and the standard that's attached to question 2, and this is providing an external web link for a game to practice prefixes and suffixes. There may also be videos and songs. There could be Word documents. There could be any kind of resource down here that might fit different kinds of learning styles and needs of a student based on how they responded to the assessment questions. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log out of Claire's account and log in as a teacher. And we can take a look at what the teacher experiences within Edify and the EWS. This is Ms. Nelson's account, Claire's teacher. And what I can see here is the teacher dashboard. It looks very different from the student experience, but is still quite self-explanatory. Up here we have the teacher summary, notifications about students taking assessments, anything that might need grading from the teacher. Down below we have 3 tabs. The courses I'm teaching are the live courses the students are engaging in. Courses I'm taking allows the teacher to become a student and do professional development within the course. The templates are really the construction zone of the courses where teachers can customize what their students need. If I go back here, I'm going to go into the reading course and take a look at students' performance. I can do that in many different ways. I can first go into the actual assessment that the students have taken. So if I want to take a look at how Clara did, I can click on Assessments and look at the assessment that Clara just took. She was just in this fluency pre-test. If I open this up, I'm going to be able to view Clara's overall score. Right here, Clara earned 17%. Overall score shows me that she is not doing well, but it doesn't tell me why. So the Performance tab in the course allows the teacher to look at student performance down to the individual standard or even substandard level depending on the standard. When expanding on each student, the teacher is going to get a view of how the student is performing on each strand that has been assessed. When expanding the strand, the teacher can get a view of how they're performing on each individual standard. This becomes very important data when looking at reteaching and grouping the students and really getting a clear understanding about how a student is performing and where the interventions need to take place. There are other places where the student data can be viewed, and one of those places is the Literacy Skills Report. This was specifically designed for the early warning system and for easy access to data by the teachers. And what I can see here is reading level data. This is broken down either by instructional or independent. There is a chart for reading level benchmarks for all of the different systems, leveling systems that a district or teacher might be using. And the green is indicating that the students are at their reading level. Yellow is one level below where the benchmark is, and red is 2 or more levels below benchmark. I'll show you in a moment how a teacher can start to collect that data within Edify. Over here, if a school is using DIBELS, they can enter the DIBELS scores into Edify, and this will feed into this table here that's showing just a comparison of the composite scores. Down below we have standard pillars. These are broken down into the 5 key components of reading and the standard data that might be collected within Edify. If you hover over the pillar, it's going to show you the proficiency rating of the students and the percentage of proficiency in each of the red, yellow, and green categories. If you click on the pillar, it is going to give you a breakdown below of the entire class and how the students are performing on each standard that has been assessed so far that falls within that pillar. If you click on the title, it will sort the data from top to bottom or bottom to top, depending on how you would like to sort, and right down to the individual standard or substandard level. It will give you a really clear way to group the students and begin reteaching. If I go back to the course, I am going to show you how a teacher can collect data without the students ever even logging into the system. The teacher can collect data around standards through giving checklist assessments. Essentially what this is the teacher collecting observational data. So they might be sitting one-on-one with a student. It might be the teacher collecting data while the student is speaking in a small group or in a large group, but the teacher is able to just check a box or choose from a drop-down menu that is indicating more of a rubric or grading scale. So this comprehension assessment might be one that a teacher gives during a conferring time while doing a reader's workshop. They would select the student's name. These are all selected already, so I'm just going to go ahead and look at these drop-down menus here. This criteria here is about questioning. So the teacher is seeing if the student can ask and answer questions about the text they're reading. This criterion is about establishing purpose and understanding for the reading. If I'm looking at this student, while I'm conferring, I might just go in here and ask a few questions of the student, see if they can ask and answer questions. I would select from the drop-down. I could switch to a button view if I have my iPad or my smartphone, and now it's giving me just the actual number score. If I hover over that, it's going to show me what that score is indicating. Another option is entering reading levels in the system. This is just a simple entry form. As you are benchmarking your students, you can simply enter their reading level. This is the leveling system. The 2 options that you have are Fountas and Pinnell and Lexile, but there is a correlation chart up here that allows you to find the F&P level if you are doing DRA or RAS. So the ability to collect data is really quite immense within Edify and within the EWS in general. I'd like to show you a couple of reports quickly that a teacher can pull to look at their class data as a whole. So the first one is the performance by standard report. The teacher would simply look up their course, and they can really slice and dice this however they choose to. But once they apply the report filters, they're going to see a breakdown of all of the standards assessed and how the students are performing on each of those standards.